Hey there, masterminds. Thankfully, we have some calmness, at least in this group. I just want to give you an understanding of where I sit on the view of everything that's going on right now, and know that I am still pushing for the masterminds to do live events. Now, I know everyone else is going digital and all the rest of it, but what I want you to understand is that I think the current hysteria is a little bit over the top. I've actually got my views out there already, and you can go and see what I believe. But for me, there's a couple of things. If you're aged and you're at a risk category around any influenza or flu, I would be really, making sure that I'm not in a place that you're going to get sick. I don't have an issue with the fact that what we're seeing at the moment is simply an influenza of type that's a little bit more than normal. I mean, COVID viruses, if you do your research, have been around for a long time. So the coronaviruses are a strain of normal cough, cold and flus that have been blown out of all proportion. Now, I could talk in great lengths around the 13 families that run the world, and I don't subscribe to this completely, okay? There are bits and pieces that I think are viable to think about. But the 13 families that run the world, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and how they actually pull triggers to make things happen. And what I'm seeing at the moment is the media has never had access to the entire globe within seconds, and the hysteria that's been created and the panic that's been created has been from the media perspective. There are a number of scientists and doctors that are specialists in this area on one side saying that this is a huge issue, and there are a number of doctors and specialists on the other side and scientists on the other side that are saying we're blowing this out of all proportion and that the media needs to stop doing what they're doing. I ask for some calmness on your side. Think about what's happening. We've got 90-something% of all cases are fine. You're getting over the cold, flu, or those flu-type symptoms, other than the fact that this influenza or this coronavirus is a dry, coffee-type flu, which you've had before as well. We know that there are a mortality rate that suggestions are higher than normal. The suggestions that I have for you is that at the moment, the suggestions of higher than normal is that there's a whole lot of people that are going through this coronavirus that are not being tested, and the numbers are being skewed in a way that looks bad. Yes, I do believe that the death rate is higher, but at the same time, it's only hitting the elderly. Even the young are a 0.2% mortality rate. And don't think for 1 second, you know how high my empathy rate is around people and feelings, and knowing that if people are dying, it's an awful thing. At the same token, we have to take this for what it's worth. Now, I'm not going to subscribe to the fact that the weakest links are all being killed off and dying and all the rest of it, but I do understand that there is a mortality rate that we just have to accept is happening right now. To go into full lockdown, I believe, is an absolute debacle or a stupid thing. The reason that they need to go to lockdown is because our hospitals can't cope with the hysteria, not with the fact that people are sick, but the actual hysteria. That means that people are getting sniffles, colds and flus and are going into hospital when they shouldn't be going into hospital. They should be staying at home, making sure they're getting enough water and making sure they're actually getting just the rest that they need through any virus. So here's a couple of facts and figures for you. The facts are that if I develop an influenza, cold or any type of virus, my body automatically produces those cells and creates more of the virus to go with my body so that my immune system can then detect it, create antibodies to it, and then fight that virus off. Now, if I'm sitting here and 2 weeks later, 4 days later, 10 days later, I'm in a place where I'm much better off because my body has fought the virus, then do we have anything to worry about? Unless you're in that category that's at risk, no. Let me also say that at the same time and the same token, the high-risk strategy is a strategy that actually does better in times of upheaval. So when the mining boom tapered off and we had huge issues in places like Mackay, we had people like Kara with an 8% vacancy rate in the area, absolutely killing it and not having enough rooms, needed more rooms. In this point of hysteria, financial crisis, people are going to be losing their jobs, there's going to be a downturn in the financial cycle, understand that the thing that people need to do is save money. Where's the best and easiest place to save money? On their accommodation. So if you continue to supply what's required right now, where people are saving 1/3 to one half off their normal weekly rent, then we're in a really good spot. Now, I'm not asking to price gouge. I don't want you lifting prices. I don't want you getting to a point where you're abusing the system. We're happy with the cash flow that we're currently getting, and I believe that you look around, have a look at what's possible, and understand that we are all here to support you. If you are feeling that this thing is starting to creep up on you, please let us know. We can help you out. I can take the calmness. Now remember, I suffer from anxiety, but in this place right now, I'm asking for calmness. I'm calm myself. I'm not really fussed. In the end, I continue to say this, and I'll end most of the things that I say in this way. If in the end the coronavirus hits me, gets me, and kills me, make sure that everyone has a good old laugh at my funeral. The one thing I'm concerned about most right now is making sure that my family is protected and that they're not getting overly sick to the point where it's going to kill them. I'd be devastated if one of my family was to pass away from corona. But I'd be devastated if my family passed away from any illness whatsoever. So let's get some calmness, let's settle ourselves, and let's do the things that we need to do right now, which is establish currently where you are, how you want to move forward, and make sure you implement that strategy, and that's what we're here for. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.